I said I'll start recording. I'll start
Okay,
recording. So
okay,
thank
fine.
you very much, Mrs. Adebola Ladi-Badmus. Thank you very much for this presentation and for your time. We are grateful. Thank you. Thank you. We look forward to having a fantastic session with you. Thank you. I'll hand over to you at this point, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. My sister Adenike Adebola, my
Yeah.
namesake. Her surname is my first name. It's actually a short presentation, and what I want to talk about is that many people go into businesses without understanding some of the things that are at stake, and I want to start by letting us know the type of businesses that are available. There are businesses that you can run by yourself, and there are businesses that you can run with other people, like joint ownership. Then I want us to look at it, the advantages and disadvantages of each, and then the legal implications, and then statutory returns. So first of all, like I said, there are personal and joint, the one that you can register and other people can run for you. And in the one that you register for yourself alone, that you run for yourself alone, the common ones are the business name, because there are various types of businesses, and that's the legal, okay, the legal aspect of it. Now we have the business name, which is like a sole proprietorship. We have the sole proprietorship, and when you register that, you register as a sole owner, just as the name implies. You register and you are the all in all of that business. And the advantage of, because I'll be going from in and out of each one. The advantage of that is that you call the shots, you make all the decisions. But the disadvantage is that if there is any issue coming up, everything also falls on you. If there's a liability, you have to bear it alone. In fact, for business name, the liability on the business also falls on the owner. For example, I'm hearing an echo. Is it coming from me?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It
If
looks coming from-
But I'm alone here and there's no noise from my end. Anyways, if there is a liability, it's it falls on the owner as well. Like if the business is owing people, and the business when it comes to bankruptcy and the business cannot pay its obligations anymore, the law allows the creditors to take hold of the proprietor, the owner, and whatever asset he has will be, except maybe his personal belongings, his bedding, and then things that cookery. Those are the only things that he will have access to. The law, if he has houses, landed property, cars, the law allows that those things be sold and then they used to pay the people he's owing. So those are the big liability or the disadvantage in that. Then if when it comes to tax payment, a business name does not pay tax, but the owner is liable to tax as a director in the business. And the tax is paid to a state internal revenue. In the case of Lagos State, Lagos Internal Revenue. So the next type of business is a limited liability company. And in business name, let me just take it back. In business name, there is also room for partnership. So two people can go into partnership, from 2 people to 20. The law gives that room for between 2 people to 20, and you have to draw a deed of agreement to sort of run the business. The rule of agreement will deed of agreement rather will be the guiding people. Then we have the limited liability directorship and their. You cannot touch personal assets of the directors. Wherever the asset of the company is able to reach in settling the creditors, that's where where it ends. And if we go deeper, some people have more, they rank higher on the list of people that they have to pay. So as soon as those people are paid, then even the directors, their liability is limited to the amount of shares they have in that company. So beyond that, maybe after paying the venture owners and people who rank higher in ownership there, they might not get anything, but that will be fine. Nothing goes wrong with their own personal assets. Then in limited liability company is divided into private, into public, and then we have limited by guarantee. The private is where you have your family and friends, you co-own the business, and you can also be a sole director, like I said. But in public is those ones that where we have people selling their shares to the public. In private, you don't sell your shares to the public. If you need to increase your shares, maybe you gather money from friends, from banks, through loans and things like that. But in public, you have the opportunity to buy shares to sell your shares to people. So outsiders, the general public, anybody can become a shareholder in that company. Then we have those limited by guarantees. I think that's a particular kind of business, and I won't want to bore us with that. Then we also have incorporated trustees, also known as non-governmental agency. Non-governmental, the benefit of it is that you can use it for humanitarian services, and it doesn't pay tax. But if it gets involved in businesses that involve payment of tax, it will pay tax. So far its activity is limited to that of humanitarian services, rendering humanitarian services, it will not pay tax. But the directors who are there might also need to pay their personal income tax, that is to the state internal revenue. But as far as the federal government tax is concerned, they will not need to pay tax, except there are also types of taxes. Sorry, we have the company income tax, we have VAT, which is value added tax, we have withholding tax. There is a way of the value added tax is on consumer goods. We have some items that are exempted from VAT, like educational materials, like medical, and those in medical services and medical equipment, then agriculture and some other things. I think basic food too is exempted from tax, but once it is produced or sort of there's a sort, if you have to change, let's say, garri into something that is packaged now, then it's subject to VAT. Those are intricacies that if you need to know more, you might have to ask further questions on that. And then, like, these advantages and disadvantages weigh on the kind of company you should run, how you should run it, and then the kind of returns that you will need to file. So starting from your understanding of whether you want to register a business name or a limited liability company, that is the knowledge that you already have, the foundation you have, that you will decide whether you want to register either of these ones. And when you register them, first of all, it will impact your statutory return yearly. Statutory return with Corporate Affairs Commission, when you register a business name, all of those businesses, Corporate Affairs Commission mandated it that as a business owner, annually you need to file your returns. So whether you have a business that is running or you just have the paper certificate, you need to make an annual returns to them. And there's a cost attached to it. But when you don't make these returns, as at when due, there's also a penalty that is attached to it. So for me, what I've discovered is that if I'm not able to pay, using my own personal experience, I registered my business name in 2017, and I was under the illusion that I'm not doing any business with it yet, so why must I file returns? And those penalties kept piling. But I've discovered now, especially that is online, I can pay for my current year at the current rate. So those years will not incur penalty, but the back years I pay them as I have the ability to pay. They don't, I don't know if anybody read about it recently that CAC is striking some names off its register because people are not making annual return. We have people that are owing 20 years, 50 years, some 90 from like 1960 something. They were not making returns, and their penalty are piling up. They are there. So the amount that you pay as a business owner is different from that of the limited liability company. So for business name, it is 3,000 per year for now, 3,000 per year. But if you have penalty, that's an additional 5,000. For a business name, it's 5,000 per year, and if you have penalty, additional 5,000 before you now pay the agent that will do the returns for you. Then for business name, when you are making your return, because it's a business, is like a sort of acceptable if you don't prepare financial documents to submit to CAC. But a limited liability company, you need to submit financial documents. You need to keep records. You need to also upload your records. And that is also another cost, because the accountant who is preparing it will want to charge you for that. And if you are okay, if you are actually running your business well, if the business is running properly and you are making the kind of money you should make, those things should not fear you, but at least it helps one to make a decision. For most companies, generally, the CAC expects that annual return should be filed between January and June for the following year. So for 2023 now, between January and June 2024, that's when it's expected that you should do your filing. Anything after that, you start paying for penalty. Then we have the Federal Inland Revenue Service. So for those ones, that is where the body that is empowered to take tax returns of people. So as a business, once you register with Corporate Affairs Commission, you have a bank account, and part of the things that government is doing now to keep everybody in the tax loop is to make sure that as soon as you are registering your business, you are getting a tax identification number, and they have mandated it that if you don't have this number, you cannot open a bank account. It's all good as a business owner if you don't open a bank account and you run your personal account until maybe you have something to do with a government agency or a structured organization that demands that they want to make payments into your bank, or at least you should submit documents that will show that you have been truthful in your business. So, and the new thing now is also that when you register and when you have this TIN number, you go to tax office closest to your business office and then ask them to update you on tax promise. The tax promise is done so that it will also catch as much taxpayers as possible, and that when you have it, it will also make filing your returns easy for you, because most people don't know what to do or how to go about it. But if you are in the comfort of your office or your house or with your phone or laptop, anyway, you can make your returns as at when due, when you need to do it. So those things that has to do with Federal Inland Revenue are your VAT, and that is filed monthly. The return is done monthly. Even if you are not doing business, so far you already have a registered name. So far you have a registered name, a legally registered company or business name. You're supposed to make returns and say, I didn't do business this month. Last month I did business. This is my returns. And the more you don't do business, you also have to go to them and declare and say, okay, oh, see my books. They are clean. I didn't have any inflow. But you just need to let them know. If you don't let them know, it is when you actually they are supposed to educate taxpayers so that people will know, but they don't do that in Nigeria. It's when you now need a document from them or whatever, they start chasing you with penalty and asking you to pay. For VAT, when you don't file per month is 5,000 naira, then carried over from every month at an interest rate. I don't know the interest rate right now, but there's an interest rate. So 5,000, you calculate the interest rate, let's say interest of whatever it is, let's say even assuming 500 naira on top of it. So that's 5,500 naira in the following month, plus the 5,000 of the initial month, that's 10,000 naira. So in the third month, that's 10,500 naira with interest of 1,000 naira. It has become 16,500 compounding interest. Okay, I think the interest rate is at the current or prevailing interest rate that you can get money from the bank. So that is that. You have the VAT, and then you have your withholding tax. Your withholding tax is an advanced form of taxation of company income tax on your businesses. So when you render a service that you have to charge your client withholding tax on, the client is assumed to have paid part of their taxes, just like maybe you are owing somebody, you are assuming that you will owe somebody and you need to pay in December. And from January, you start deducting it little by little, little by little, little by little. So in December, when you file your documents to show what you have done in the year, if you were supposed to pay, let's say, company income tax of 500,000, and you have credit notes, the document that FRS will issue you on payment of your withholding tax is what is called credit note. So if you have a credit note of 300,000, you know that you have just 200,000 to balance. And if you have a credit note worth of 1 million, whatever it is, the balance, you keep it till next year. You already have a form of advance payment that you are making to government. And normally the finance officer of a company, they work it out between the companies that are into businesses, and then they relate with the tax office. Okay, let me also talk about the state internal revenue. So as a business owner or as an individual, you're supposed to register with state internal revenue and file your taxes also monthly. There are some, I think withholding tax on capital gains tax as a business name owner. That's the one that is filed with State Internal Revenue Service. And then yearly, as a business owner, you are supposed to pay business development, then business premises. Let me also, I didn't follow this document that is on the screen. So let me just look at it now. So one, Corporate Affairs Commission. I'm also running, I don't know how many minutes that we have. Corporate Affairs Commission registration. First of all, you have to do your registration. It becomes due the day you decide that you want to register your business, and it is online. Then yearly, once you are registered, you file annual returns, which is at the company's year end. And then the general deadline is 30th of June, and it's also online too for all registered business. I've spoken about the categories of businesses and the amount of money. As an incorporated trustee too, you have to file returns. You have to file returns, and there's I think that they are the one that pays the highest. Then if you have a limited liability company, if you are making an annual turnover of more than 25 million now, they will add another 5,000 to it. Then Federal Inland Revenue Service, you first of all, when you have after your registration, you have to activate, even though for limited liability company now, when you are making payments with CAC, there's a portion of your payment that goes for stamp duty, and it goes to Federal Inland Revenue Service. And with that, they give you a TIN number with your certificate. To be on your certificate, but you still have to write a letter to the tax office concerned, and the law says that your tax office is the one closest to your business office. So you have to write a letter that they should activate you. That means they should open a file for you there, and you go with your hard copies of your CSC documents. Then you also fill the once they give you a tax update form to fill, and that one will now give you access to the online platform. And for all businesses, you also need to catch up. New businesses to register afresh. For old one, they need to catch up. Filing of VAT. It used to be at least latest 21st of every month, but now I think as at this year, they change it to 14th of every month. And if you don't file it, attracts penalty. Then you also need to do your CIT, which is the company income tax yearly. Number 3, state internal revenue, which is LRS for Lagos State anyway. Registration as a taxpayer, as a director, or as just an individual. For employees, it's common with employees because they work and then the office take care of it. It has been deducted upfront from their salary. But if you're a business owner, you are supposed to do your calculation and go and pay. As at the last time I went to the state internal revenue office to make inquiries, for business owner is about 10,200, or let's just say 10,500 or 11,000 in a year that you need to pay, because you can go to them and given your level of business, and if you introduce yourself or you fill in yourself as a trader, that's the minimum level. They put you on a trader level and then you pay 10,200. If you have employees, you also pay their payee monthly. It's at the end of every month. They don't have a particular date, but at the end of every month. So it should maybe most likely before the 5th of the next month. And then there are some special businesses. They are designated as non-financial institutions. So financial institutions have to do that, but those are like banks, all these big companies. So, but those that are designated as non-financial institutions, we have them like accounting firm, taxation firm, those that are involved in jewelry business. If you have an NGO, if you have, if anybody needs it, I'll send the documents. There are some businesses, surveyors, especially people that have to work with other people's money. You have to work with other people's money, but you are a non-financial institution. You are expected to register with EFCC to obtain what is called
Sorry, am I the only one that can't hear Madam Adebola anymore?
I think it's network. She keeps coming in, flicking in and out. I think it's network though.
Okay. I can't hear her either. I can't see her on the call either. I guess she was taken out by the network.
Yeah, network.
Okay, so Madam Adebola, I will need you to take a decision. Should we continue, or how do we proceed?
her chat on WhatsApp says trying to reconnect. Another person, Chimeze, also said he got disconnected too. Do you think we can like move the rest of this to WhatsApp?
Yeah, it might be better.
Yes, I think
we can also send in our questions to WhatsApp.
Voice notes. Because network of Zoom right now.
Yes, which will be clearer.
Yeah.
It looks like Adebola is back though. Can we?
I'm back. I was speaking, but I
Okay, let's
don't know
move there.
if that would be better for everyone. I don't know why I'm getting
So what
that
do we want
feedback.
to do?
I'm good with anyone.
I think if you can finish off on Zoom, let's finish this
Are you-
presentation on Zoom. We can take the picture to
Okay,
WhatsApp.
I'm almost finished anyway. ESCC. Okay, I was talking about ESCC that you need to, the bank will demand for that number once you want to open an account, the certificate rather, once you want to open an account with them. So it's just a one-off stuff, sort of. That's with EFCC. And there are also other documentation as a business owner, but since I'm talking to majorly writers and book owners and things like that, we will not go to those ones. Thank you very much. I hope you made sense of the little bit I was able to
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been
thank you.
There's so much to digest. If anyone, I know I have a question. If anyone has questions, they should.
Okay, I have one anyway. I have one. I registered a company earlier this year.
Okay.
We got a tax ID from the tax office closest to us. But when we got to the bank said they couldn't find that tax ID on the network or something, that they couldn't find it. So I don't know if you've had an experience like that, and if you have any ideas on how to go about resolving that. Thank you.
Was the business a limited liability company or a business
name? A business name.
A business name, and it was given to you by the tax office closest to you.
Yes, we got the tax ID from the business office, from the tax office. But when we got to the bank to go and continue with getting.
Did you go by yourself, or who did it for you?
We went by. We went by ourselves. We went.
You know you are using we, so did you have an agent do it for you, or?
I worked with someone to register the company, so we both went to the tax office together.
Okay. Well, you might have to visit that tax office again. I was asking because in some instances I know agents that will tell people that you will get your TIN number in hours, like in 2 hours, in 3 hours, in a day. But the process involves that you go to their office. Even if you get it in a day, you might not be able to get that document. And then those people, these agents that promises quick service, they will generate what is called joint tax board number. And that joint tax number, it doesn't really work. So whoever they do that for will still have to go to the tax office and do all the necessary documentations. But in this case now, you might have to go back to them and say, this is what the bank is saying.
Okay.
Maybe they have not activated you. It's also possible that they have not activated you. Being a business name and a new one at that, they might not have activated you in that FRS.
Is that an advantage? Does it mean they've not started counting taxes against us? Is that what it means?
Yes.
Activated. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Any other questions? Does anyone else have questions?
Yes, so I do have a question. As proofreaders or as writers or whatever, I see us as service providers, if I'm correct. Now, this is it for me. If you want to open a brand name as a proofreader, where you're providing that service of proofreading and what have you, and you do not want to have to go through an agent, what are or how do you go about your registration with CAC and the whole works? It might not necessarily be, if you want to open a brand name, it might not be proofreading. If you have a business name or something and you just want to open that.
Okay, there are two sort of portals that the CAC has. If you are registering anew, you can do it. Yes, you can do it yourself. You go to their registration portal and then start the process by yourself. But because it's sort of well, I would say it's straightforward, but if it's not something you are used to maneuvering roundabout, you might find some difficulty. And if you don't get it well at inception, then you run into trouble, and then you need to look for somebody who will bail you out. But then there's also the second portal that if you are a registered business and like all these annual returns and stuff, an old company, you have to go through an agent. There's no way about it.
Okay. But what are the best ways of getting agents to work with, especially if you do not want to go through the hassle of opening your brand or your business name by yourself, at least to avoid all these unnecessary glitches?
Okay, there are different. I'm an agent myself, but there are different platforms where you can meet agents. You can meet them through referrals, the adverts, Telegram group, anywhere.
Okay, so since you're on the group and you're an agent, if we need you, we can chat you up. That's fine.
Yes, it is.
We can chat you up. That's fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you for your question. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, one last one. When you're opening a new brand or you're opening a new business name, how much does that cost, since you are an agent, and if I want to come through you and I want to open my proofreading brand name and what have you, what's the criteria? What does it cost and all of that? Or that's something we can talk about one-on-one later? It doesn't have to be on the group though.
It doesn't have to be on the group, and it can be on the group. The CAC charges is something like a public knowledge. So whatever, yes, it's public knowledge, and whatever you want to you agree between you and the agents might just be
private. Okay.
Yes.
I'll chat you up later on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome once again.
Okay, I will take one more question if we have any, and then I'll invite Adebola Ladi-Badmus, who is the convener of the Proofreaders and Editors in Nigeria group, to round up. So do we have any more questions? Any more? Okay, so Adebola, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you once more, Denike, for organizing this. And thank you, my Madam Adebola. Thank you for always answering us whenever we call. Thank you. And my question, please don't aim me if I've asked you before. But this federal tax and state tax, they confuse me. I have a business name. BMS is at business name stage. I plan to keep it that way forever. Now, you said I have to do returns FIRS monthly. Then I owe CAC a legal obligation to do a returns once a year before June, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then what obligation do I have to Lagos State? I stay in Lagos State. Is there another tax obligation that I have to Lagos State
Yes.
for running
Like
a business name?
in Lagos State, you are using their land now. So okay, CAC is clear. Even for federal, even for accountants, I'm an accountant,
Mm,
and for me personally, sometimes I'm confused
okay.
because I'm not fully into it, except when I get clients that wants to do it. But the more you walk into it, the more you understand it. Now, let me break it down like this. There are some VAT. That's VAT. I will look for the document and send to you or send to the group. You now see where it applies to you, whether you are tax exempted or not. But for a business name, I would just advise that
Okay.
you limit your filing to state, because you don't pay withholding tax. It doesn't really
Okay.
apply to you, because withholding tax, you don't, except you're rendering service that is beyond proofreading, writing, and all that. I think contracts there are 5%, there are some that are 10%, the kind of services. I think,
Wow.
okay, maybe in the area of royalty, you might need to register with them, or at least have an idea of that, for royalties. But for states, you first of
Okay.
all, you
So whoever
as a
is
business,
planning to have a publishing company in future, please take note of royalties.
and in that
Call Amanda Services with your full chest. Don't take comments.
so in that regard, then the states, you as a taxpayer, you are supposed to register and pay monthly taxes. But if you decide to make it yearly, their yearly return, the cutoff for their yearly return, I think is 31st of March. 31st of March for a business owner. And that's when you pay your business premises per year. That's if you are using a business premises, is 5,000 naira. If you have employee, it is 100 naira. Employee development levy is 100 naira per head. So do you understand those ones? Then if you sell your assets, there will be tax
Yes.
on the capital that is gained. If you have any asset that is a qualifying asset, not that word, qualifying. If it's a qualifying asset, if you sell it, there is a sort of tax, an amount that should go to the state government. So that is when you need to file a capital gains tax.
Okay.
But from what I've noticed or what I've observed, I think you as an individual, once you are able to pay your taxes at that level, just individual level, for people that don't have
Yes.
staff, just you register with a state internal revenue and you pay your 10,200 yearly.
Okay. Okay. I
So
think
with
that
that, you'll
makes
be
it
able to
simpler
get
for
what they
me.
call, yes, with that you get what they call TCC, or tax clearance certificate. You can also request for your tax card. Lagos State used to issue tax card. That's where your tax number will be. And if you have, even for people that have worked with
I
organizations
have
before,
one, but I don't know what
yeah,
I'm supposed to be doing with it.
you go to their office, maybe because it's been a while that you made returns last. Once you give them your name, maybe your BVN, your email address, or your date of birth, the number will pop up anyway.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll also private chat you so we can make a move on this. I've not done anything beyond what you helped me with the last time.
Okay.
Oh, please, Sister
Thank you
Adebola,
very much. If anyone has any other questions,
please, as you're speaking with her for BMS
ma.
editorial, speaking with her for Amanda Turner services too. We overneed the services.
Yes, we'll need to give her the details privately, and then she'll help us straighten those things out. Now that we are still at the beginning stages.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
So, without further
So any
ado,
other question?
without question, can you end the meeting, ma'am?
Once again, I say thank you to everyone for showing up. I hope this has been a session of learning and you have value. Please, I believe that Mrs. Badmus will answer you if you private chat her. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask her. Feel free to drop anything of any information you think we might need on the group. Thank you and do enjoy your night.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
And
Thanks so
everyone.
much.